favorite world. That's the South. It's the South Pole, right? First of all, let me just say I have no idea what any character's name is because I could not. There was a lot going on, and then just the amount of sets that you have, even in the first episode, is mind blowing.
It's really crazy.
Mind blowing. I don't know.
What you're looking at here is the set called Wolf Cove, and this is where two of the characters start their journey. And this was a set that was shot on the virtual volume. And so, what you're looking at is all that foreground stuff is real. Like Lynn McDonald, had this army of people building little things like this. Like we built every single piece of set deck for this show. There was no place to rent any of this, unfortunately.
I believe it. I mean,
what you see
and the
here
quantity is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, we needed warehouses and warehouses and warehouses just to lay things out to look at them, but in this shot, that hut in the center of the frame is real. It's on, a snow blanket set.
Right.
All the things on the ground are real, and then all the stuff in the left hand background, that's all on this LED wall. Right. And the mountain is all on the LED wall. So you could move around this environment, and it would continue to look like this without any visual effects. Like in camera, it looked like this. And
it is amazing. It is amazing.
Center hut was there.
It is an amazing technology that they've come up with. And I think too, for the actors, it must be mind blowing too. There's no more.
Great for the actors, but it's also great for set deck where you can put stuff in here and run back to the camera and look at it and say, like, move that over to the left because it's blah blah blah, which you could never do on in traditional visual effects. You couldn't, you can't be as precise as she was able to be here.
Yeah. Well, let me go. Yeah. Oh no. Some of them aren't showing up.
There he is.
There he is. This to me is like, I understand like this isn't a whole thing, but this is still a concept that is gorgeous. I mean, these lights and the rotunda of it, like it's giving me the Pantheon vibes. Like I love it.
That was a set that was built, and it's a real set all the way up to the top of the arched windows.
Oh yeah.
And the statue is real all the way up to her shoulders. And Lynn went in there and she built all of those hanging fixtures, and then there could have been 65 million candles in here. And this was a shrine to a former avatar, and it was this is more or less a real set.
Wow. It's gorgeous.
Yep.
It's one of the things I wanted to ask is that the color palette for this is very dark in some. And I thought, well, this is probably more towards adults that everything's so dark. But I think that I'm cheating children that they're not smart enough. But it's not as some of your previous projects where it's like bright and fun, and like this, you give such a meaningful palette to this show. It's really gorgeous.
Thanks. Yeah, there was a lot of discussion about like color theory on the show was really important because it's uniforms. The teams on the show are different colors.
Fire.
Yes. So if anything's red, you know what team they're on. If anything's green, you know what team they're on. And then, we've got these we've got these air nomads that are all basically Buddhist monks, and they don't have electricity, and we also had to create this really sad past for Aang, the young kid. We had to create this really sad past for him because he never gets to go back here. Right. He's the last of these people, and he never gets to. So we had to make this like a wonderland for him, and also pretty, but also you know, there's some foreboding here of like, he never ever gets to go back here. It's
Yeah,
gone.
it is. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot going on with these poor kids and another thing. But look at, I mean, this I loved and how visual it is and
This
how,
is also all 100% built, and all the set deck and everything, the cobbled streets and everything is built on a in a warehouse in the middle of Vancouver.
mm, it's gorgeous. I'm hoping all of and this is all built, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
this we went to like 30 or 40 miles away to a working to a working gravel pit, and built this town, and it and because we had to, because the battle that takes place here required so much fire, you know, we couldn't shoot this on stage, so we built this whole thing and on the side of a gravel pit.
and yeah, because it goes through a transition of the fire and like the poor town.
Yeah, it's we had to catch the whole thing on fire, and I just urged them that having houses on fire in a soundstage is a really, really, really bad idea.
Yeah, not a good idea. It's probably not a good idea to have a fire around all those trees either, but it seems
That's
more,
right.
but yeah, beautiful. I mean, how many houses are here?
I think there were 20.
Wow.
And you know, we had to do the shorthand for a lot of these things. Like a skillful viewer will recognize that there's probably, we built these like kit plans for construction. So there's like 4 different kits, and we built like 4 of each one. And then the only customization you could do as a homeowner would be to choose different roofs. So um, we did some in straw and some in different materials, but uh,
Beautiful.
yeah, it was kit building, because also this was 50 miles away from us, so we couldn't go out there every day and had to
Yep.
have a peek and see what was happening. And so we had to rely a lot on um, the people out here building it to kind of do the right thing. And
Did,
then
did,
Lynn had like a week out here to just make it kind of feel more real. The good thing about Japanese architecture and Japanese vibes is that, you know, it's a little bit tidy. So
yeah.
it didn't need a lot of, it didn't need a lot of superfluous dressing, which I kind of dig.
I mean, also, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I got hung up on the dressing part. Okay, I'll remember. Ugh, all these pictures aren't working. This too, I mean, as you just said, like there is such simple design that is so meaningful in their architecture and design. I,
Yes.
but these corner pieces that you gave here, like just these little details that you've implemented are so beautiful.
Thanks. This was also a built set, and we built this big room. Um, and this is a very important, this stuff that happens in this room is a fairly iconic bit of the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of the times where we wanted to make it feel really flat and kind of 2D. Um, so there's really not a lot of like foreground nonsense to sort of break up the flatness of this set. But Lynn found stuff all over the place that that we could use for spicing this place up, and she used an awful lot of restraint.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell someone, it's like, let the floor be pretty and let the walls be pretty. And, you kind of want to throw some stuff in there, and it's like, it's not the vibe. It's not the time. Let's make this be pretty.
Yeah, because when you find like a medallion, like something that you could put on the wall and you're like, oh, I can't,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And this is the house at the end of the village, right? Or is this a different
This is the exterior of that interior
of
that
that? Yeah,
you
that's what I
yeah.
thought.
But
Yeah,
this is just a super flat facade. There's nothing in here.
right. It's from stage. Oh, that was really nice. Oh, why aren't these working? This, this
I,
is so gorgeous. So this is like like a skeleton of a whale or something
yeah,
like that, or one of those weird animals. That's what
yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah. No, we're in the, well, they use the whale as the structure and stretched leather over it, and we built it the exact same way. Those are
That
big
ceiling,
giant, those are
that's,
big giant foam bones, and we came up with this weird painting technique over like visqueen to make all of the skins
oh,
and so all of that stuff at the top where they're lighting through, that's just painted plastic.
oh wow.
And
It looks
it
gorgeous.
looks like leather. It looks like some kind of weird, it's really thinly stretched skin. I think Lynn came up with that idea.
I love because it's some sort of, it feels like it's overlaid and this is the glue keeping it all together. It's so intricate and beautiful.
Yeah, walking in this set because it was so enormous. Was kind of mind blowing because like you're in the belly of a whale.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm sure the DP loved it because you've given opportunity to have this even light than
Yes.
from above. You gave him like a huge softbox up there, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of easy to work with in that way. I consider lighting all the time. I'm not easy to work with in a lot of other ways, so it all equals out, I guess. But it's like the lighting definitely being built into this was what made it kind of live a little bit.
It's beautiful. I love this guy's shop. I love
Yeah,
it. I feel like I have like two or three shots here. I couldn't get enough of it. Like I couldn't get a wide of it or something. I was so bummed. Like it was so quick. But
it was small. It was really hard to get far enough back to really shoot this thing. But like um, you know, looking over the top of my glasses at the set deck department, going like, I don't know how to say this, but there's no way you're ever going to have enough stuff to go in here. Just get more, just keep getting more stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like his workshop and tinkering and like the drawings on the walls and like there's so much stuff in there. It doesn't have to make sense. I think
The layering here is like top notch
yeah.
set deck work. Like there's um there's stuff stacked and stuff in front of stuff, stacked in front of stuff, stacked in front of stuff, and the stuff in the back is just as important as the stuff in the front. And it's like it's really well done.
And these beautiful window screens are
Yeah.
they're beautiful. They're just
Thank God
beautiful.
for CNC machines.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what
Love
a
this. I forgot
beautiful
about this
character set.
one.
Beautiful character set. So this village I thought was fantastic. I love the approach up and everything and how they're getting to this little village. And I was wondering how much of this was a build. Is it the bridge?
Yeah, the bridge, the floors, the sort of 4 or 5 foot tall walls are all on stage.
Huh?
And then in a really cool effect, those doors open onto a really wide view into the virtual volume, which is dressed with all the marketplace huts and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, all that stuff. And that was a real dance of for set deck because again, they had like maps of 30 different styles of vendors stalls, and then they had to move them around for the fight choreography and for other scenes that happen in this marketplace. They constantly moved these vendor tents around so that we felt like we were in different spaces, but it was all in the same volume space.
Yeah. I mean, they do a long walk through this market.
Yeah.
And then the fight scene, and then using these market pieces and the cabbage and all of that for their fight scenes. I mean, when you also design and know that there's actions taking place, it's a whole nother layer of designing also, of like, well, this floor, this should be this space, but we got to make it bigger for the
There
fight
were,
scene and make it make sense.
there was a specific art director for this set that worked with the set decorator and there were topographical maps, and each thing was labeled, and the movements of the vendor carts were a carefully orchestrated concert of moving things around. Day one is going to be this configuration, and then there'd be another map for day two configuration, and then they would move them around, and it was all pre-planned for the most part until the showrunner got there and moved everything around. It was all pre-planned and worked out in advance, and the stuff that wasn't being used was right outside of the volume space, and then they would constantly move them around. This was like a week's worth of work.
Wow.
These scenes inside this marketplace and this fight.
And then and showing it at night, I thought was great too. And still
Yeah.
seeing all of this, all of the dressing and everything. Really beautiful. Oh, I have another one. Yeah. I mean,
The
they use
layering is
it.
spectacular.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. And all of those little carts and how they're different, and the fabrics
Yeah.
and colors are vibrant, but not like, they're not popping out, but they're like vibrant. It's really
Yeah, this is a war-torn city, so it was meant to have like the colors that make us know that the colors were very vibrant and very fun, before the war started. But now it is it's a little bit sad, but they're trying to keep their way of life going.
So this, I understand, is visual effects, but this design of this cart going up is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
was that discussed as a design point, or is this visual effect?
With our art department designed this from scratch,
It's
and
gorgeous.
then sent along the route that the carts would take, all the different routes of all the different carts that went through the city, where all the big buildings are, where all of and then there was visual reference in pictures and drawings sent for each building in the city, and what it would look like. And then we did a pass of just trees and what kind of trees were in there, and then we did a pass of roof lines, and that's kind of why it takes 6 months to do each one of these. Then visual effects went and made this really live with like the incredible like light and shadow work that is on this, and the really explicit direction of the sun that makes everything like look so great. And so it was a real everybody pitched in on these kinds of things for sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful concept too. I mean, just and executing it, I just thought it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was fun to do the research. Like a lot of these Earth nation is Japan, China, and India. And so getting to sink into like northern India as opposed to southern India, and the difference in architecture, and it was actually kind of fun. I mean, it was terrorizingly anxiety producing, but it was actually really fun to learn. Well, we got to really expand our architectural horizons on this project.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love this guy. I love his set. I love the way he eats. I love the green, as you were saying. Like, I love this character. I love that it's dark but vibrant. I mean, what a beautiful set you have
We
here.
saw really early on, one of the art directors, Marshall, we saw these Indian Palace photograph books, and there was one that was just like literally 50 gigantic groin vaults all connected into this one giant building, and that was it for us. And then he went nuts with a model of groin vaulted rooms lined up one after the other, and like almost infinitely. And if you saw the wide shot of this set, you can see that this thing goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. And all the rooms are the same size. But that floor was printed, and that table was made, and Lynn found that set of chairs. Like, go figure, like finding on eBay or whatever a set of 25 gigantic horrible chairs. And I wish you could see the insane, like, cruel upholstery on those chairs that she did. Most like vibrant green, like beautiful, like cruel from India. And then the stuff on that table, it just goes on and on and on. And she built those chandeliers and dyed every crystal in them green. Like those didn't come like that. We dyed them.
Wow, it's so gorgeous.
Yep.
It's so gorgeous. I mean, and I was looking because right now I'm working on something that's deco. And I was like, oh, look at that sconce. It's like the deco fan, but they made green. It's so brilliant. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, this was a good set.
Yeah. How big was this set?
It's inside the volume. So the walls that you see there are on the LED screen. And then the table and the chandeliers and the big statues, and all the foreground stuff is all real.
Right.
But the walls are LED. So again, we could shoot in there, almost 200 and some degrees around that circle, without having to stop and without having to redress or do anything.
How many stages did you have?
This stage was its own. This machine stayed up all the time, and so all this dressing had to come out, and the new stuff had to go in on a every other day basis. And then at this studio, we had 5 other stages that were constantly having stuff built on them, and then we had 2 other stages at another building. One was for a couple of permanent sets like that dojo and that whale interior, permanent sets on a stage by themselves. And then the other giant stage at that facility was just for set deck and construction to lay out all of their millions of items of stuff.
Jandies and trinkets.
That's right. And tents and stalls and carriages, and I mean, it just went on and on and on.
I don't know why these things aren't working, but this door, I had another picture of it open, I think, when he gets into this room, is so gorgeous. This room, it's gilded and the frames and like this doorway.
So this room was like, when you walked on this set, you just I would giggle every time, because it's just like, oh my God, this is so good. But it was literally floors in the volume, floors and a couple of columns, and that door was an LED screen.
Oh, wow.
And it could open and close, and then what was beyond that was a built set on the stage next door.
Oh, that's awesome. So but the door opens, so the screens move?
No, they could be animated to open.
Oh, they were animated. Okay. I got lost there a little. I was thinking that the whole thing moved. That is so.
Yeah, I wish you had a wide shot of this, because this set
looks. I do, and it's not coming up. I'm so bummed. I spent so much time on this.
I hate when a plan doesn't go right.
Yeah, I thought this room was spectacular, and again, they're so different, and the palettes are different. We just went from green to this dark, and then the white of the whale. Like, you have there's one episode, and I was like skimming through it to look at the sets, and it's just red for like 10 minutes. Like the whole the whole thing is
Yeah.
just red. I think it was like episode 7 or 8. It's so vibrant. I mean, the red of this layer is so gorgeous.
There's another set in this palace of the young Prince Zuko's bedroom.
Oh yeah,
And
the girl's
no,
bedroom.
the guy who gets his face burned,
Oh, that guy, yeah.
he's laying in his bed and recovering from his burn. And this room was supposed to be like a well, how did I described it as a kelp forest of columns. It was supposed to be just column after column after column. And the director was just like, I can't get any shots in here. And I was like, well, like, who cares if there's a column in the foreground? Anyway, it was all red and of this ilk that I thought was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah. The map table, and then you have fire back there like the whole time. It's so visually like the to me it's like, oh, the set is alive.
It is that all that fire that was on that wall was animated fire like on an LED screen, and it would light the set. So all of this reflection of flames that you're seeing in the built table, like Lynn built and hand painted this giant war table. That's all the real flames, not real, but it's the light from flickering flames that are on that giant LED wall.
It's gorgeous. And the gold on the columns reflecting it, and it's so pretty.
Yeah, a lot of people have PTSD from those columns because those were Mylar stickers that were applied to columns that were on wheels, and it's so incredibly humid in Vancouver that those just constantly peeled off all day
Oh.
long. So the onset dresser's job all day long was to stick those stupid gold decals back onto the columns.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yep.
Why
Thanks,
you're helping us out.
thanks, Jesse.
Yeah. I think this might be my oh no, I have 2 more. This too, the integration of like the bones is using them to make tables, and just that back
Beautiful.
wall is just so
And
pretty.
they had to build all of this stuff. All those bones are
Right.
built, and the tables are built from bones, and those big giant pots are built. Those weird I don't even know, those totems in the
Yeah.
back with the lights in them are real, with like LED lights in them. Everything on that set, except for that background window, is in that set.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She built those pots. You can't tell the scale of them, but those are 10 feet. They're 10 feet tall.
What?
Yeah,
God.
yeah, they're insane.
Where what prop house did they go to?
They built everything, man. And I would walk down on this stage because this was where our offices were, and I would just see the things, and they would roll them out to start painting them, and I would just giggle to myself. It's like, where in the world did you find a 10-foot tall like earthen pot? And here it is.
That's awesome. Well, because the decorator can do it. That's why. What's
It's
the
foam, it's foam, and it's a wired foam, and it works tremendously good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you had amazing scenic artists, I must say. Scenic
Yes.
painters, and I mean all of the different textures.
Lynn had her own set of painters most of the time that were just in charge of her stuff, which gave her a lot of freedom and a lot of control over her schedule and all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
So that was really good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.